Hello and welcome to my new video. Today we will print color photo from array 4 from summer. And today I want to try to return my Cinestill circulator and just make it work as a booster. But unfortunately it's too noisy and I just don't really like to feel how it looks and how it works. And also I honestly stopped using this color analyzer because it's actually a little bit faulty. So it means at some point I need to revise my darkroom and change some stuff. And today I also need to cut the paper for the test prints. So because I have in stock paper with a size of 20 by 25 and I cut around 200 pieces and just store them as a stock. To produce the test strips I just usually cut them in size of my test printer. And because I rearranged some stuff in the darkroom, now I also want to test if my solution with the curtains works. And because color paper is crazy sensitive, you need to be careful with the all type of lights, LED lamps, small lamps and so on in your darkroom. Even one small red LED can throw off your exposure and your color palette will be offset to unknown direction. And in this case, LED is kind of a more sensitive. You think it's dim light, but in reality it's not really for the paper. Because if you check sensitivity plot of the paper, you will see that it has characteristic absorption bands. And the paper itself designed to be exposed with the RGB light. Initially it was a laser diodes, and now modern system actually switched to LEDs. Because of power, lifespan, and it's just easy to use. So let's finish up the first development and check my test strip if I have good light result and I want to see completely white paper without any problems on top. And if you have a fog on the paper and if, for example, you have a light leaks or something like this is really good test. As you can see, I don't really have any white on this paper. It's kind of a brownish reddish type of tint and it means I don't really have a dark room anymore. And also I found that I have some problems with the thermocouple on my controller, so this is also one thing what I want to revisit in future. But for now, let's fix the light in the dark room. And as you remember, my first preparation to create a darkroom from this small room in my new apartment, I just taped everything to the sides of the window, and because they actually made from wood and painted white, this is not really good idea, and over time without heating gun it's almost impossible to remove this glue and it basically gets stick forever and it's much easier to just remove everything with the paint from your window frame. So it's much better to just tape it to the glass, and from glass it's much easier to remove. So it actually will be really cool if you have any type of a device which can say, okay, this room is actually safe to use this type of materials. But I don't really have something like this in mind. But my test with this paper works perfectly fine and I have a pure white paper. And if you never saw this trick, what I do with my gloves, it's easy, simple method to just not get them stick together. And you can easily put them on a hand and reuse them multiple times. Many people ask me about this test printer. Honestly, this is just a test printer from eBay and I use it constantly. So it's quite nice tool for classic darkroom. But I think it's impossible to buy it new, so I'm thinking just release this product and get it accessible to the people. So let's load the negative in my carrier and from there let's start test prints and make exposure. This is quite dense overexposed negative, so I will start with the f5.6 and with the 60-60-0 setting on my enlarger. As you remember, I fixed the problem with the light leaks from my enlarger, so now it works a little bit better. But honestly, downside of that, you don't really see your framing because you don't really have an ambient light anymore and it's only projecting the light on the light table. So let's focus on the grain, and this picture will be really hard to focus on because it doesn't really have a sharp focus anywhere. And as you can see on this scan, I expecting something like more neutral color and a good color balance. And I also make this scan just holding my camera without the lens on top of the enlarger lens with the bellows extender. And I was quite shocking with the good results what you get from this simple device. So I think if you have bellows, or if you can buy bellows, and if you have an 80mm lens which costs around 80 euros or something like this on the eBay, and this one not even apochromatic, so it's quite simple lens. But with this combination it provides you quite astonishing good results with the scanning. It will be actually really cool to compare results with the macro lenses and compare results to this type of a setup. But honestly, now I'm thinking I will better invest money in a good lens for enlarger and use it as a scanning setup, because I don't really need a crop sensor macro lens, and I probably will never use it, and I will probably use it only for film scanning. And because I don't really care about scanning anymore, I prefer to make a prints. And for me it's only one idea: to just modify my enlarger and make a adapter on top, or buying bellows for universal cameras, so basically you can attach any type of camera and lens on top. And I'm still keep thinking maybe it's just overkill and I don't need it a lot. As you can understand, yeah, it's not really pushing me anyway, but I wanna scan 120 film and not 35mm film, because for 35 I have a scanner and I'm quite happy with the result. And only one downside: if you wanna scan 5, 6, 10 rolls of film, it's quite a long period of time. So if in future I wanna develop film for someone, it will be a huge problem how to scan and how to deliver the photos with a good result, and at the same time basically make it a little bit more automatic. So my first test print looks a little bit too dark. I think it's too dark, but I really like the tone, and this tone a little bit warmish, but because this shot was made in the evening light, I kind of guess it, and in the same time I really like the mood what it creates, and it's not really just a blank photo with the all balanced light what I have with my scan. And today I also want to try this method which is called Anderson method. I still don't really understand how it works, but I just read about it and I just want to try it today, and probably it will be total failure. So the idea of the method is actually develop the paper, under bleach it, under fix it, redevelop again and fix it completely. So it's kind of a double stage development. I don't really think it will work, but I'm just curious to try and dig up, at least have a starting point for my investigation, how it should work, will it work. So I made a new development solution for 250 milliliters, and from there I will try to make this development twice and just compare two test strips if I see any difference between them. So for the first stupid experiment I will make double development, so I basically make 1 minute development and 1 minute bleach fix and redevelop again after extended period of wash. And in the final results, I'm expecting to see something more or less the same. And I think if paper is completely developed, you cannot pull anything anymore, especially if it's bleach fixed. So I think in some manuals, if you don't really bleach the film and you just fix it, maybe it can work, but if you bleach it, you actually removing all the silver, and I don't really understand how it should work. And as you can see, I see zero difference, and after you bleach fix you can develop all day long and nothing will happen with the film. And as a second experiment I make 15-second bleach fix and develop again for 1 minute, and as you can see I just have a strange color shift, but I don't really see any difference in the tonality and color and depth and the contrast and things like this. So I decided to just give up for now at least and read up more and print bigger print. Now I air dry all of my prints, and in future I wanna personally start to make from the prints some kind of a product. And for this I need to increase quality a little bit of my printing. I also wanna sign it up properly from the back side, and I just need a proper arrangement of the matte frame And as you compare it to the digital scan, I think digital scan looks good, but it's a little bit bland, and I really like what I get from the darkroom. I think it has a little bit different feel, and it's just perception of photo how you see the first time negative in your life. You're not starting with the auto point, you're just starting from scratch, from some random points. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next videos.